You would have a seat right over there. We'll let your dad sit right here. I appreciate you coming. Start out with I'm Officer Crawford. You've probably met me before. I don't know if I've ever stopped you or anything, but you've probably seen me.
I've seen you around.
Well, first of all, I'm going to start out reading you your rights. Okay. The door's unlocked at any point you don't want to talk to me, you can get up and walk over here and we'll be done. Okay? You have the right to remain silent. Any statement you make can be used as evidence against you in court. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before answering any questions and the right to have your lawyer present during the questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you without cost to you prior to questioning if you so desire. If you wish to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop answering at any time. Okay? You understand all that? It says right here, it says, I have read to me my constitutional rights and I fully understand them. If you understand them, I want you to sign right there, the date and the time. It's the 21st. Okay. Next paragraph is if you want to talk to me. I hereby waive my rights and I'm willing to talk to you now. No promises or threats have been made to me and no pressure or force of any kind has been used against me. I voluntarily waive my rights. This is if you want to talk to me.
Instead of having a lawyer present?
Yeah.
Well, Wayne. Because, I've seen. Yeah, probably feel better with a lawyer.
Oh, we ain't got one.
And,
We know you're innocent, so.
yeah.
It's your option. I'm not going to influence you in any way.
Yeah.
Whatever you decide, that's what you want to do.
Should we see what he may lawyer?
Ain't got the money, buddy.
Yeah. I'm just going to answer questions.
I mean, at any point you don't want to answer or you're done, you just say I'm done and we end. Well, I told you yesterday on the phone, the young lady's come up here and accused you of breaking her. I'm just needing to get some information from you or hear your side of it or whatever you want to say to me.
I don't know why, because, I mean, I dated her, because it all started out, I was over visiting with my brother over at the Blue House, and, her and her mom were out there, and we were talking. Well, finally, one day, I get a phone call. It's like, hey, Wayne, you want to help out my neighbor? I was like, yeah, sure. And I went over to talk to the neighbor and had to get up early, like, on a Saturday or something like that, and go out to Springdale and help them with the car, help them find a car. And I went and test drove cars for them, helped them out. I had to drive one of them back from Springdale. And we drove, me and Kelsey rode in the car together and come back from Springdale. Her mom was like right behind us the entire time. So, I mean, she called me and she's like, hey, pull over to the gas station, cars overheating. And we pulled over and, we sat there for a while, threw in some oil and got a few drinks, and we took off down the road and we came back to town. And as soon as we got back, I started heading towards my car, and they're like, hey, if you want to come back and hang out and watch the movie sometime, come on over. I was like, all right. So I just went home and went to sleep for a while because I got like 2 hours of sleep the night before. I was dead tired. So, I started going over there. Me and Kelsey started dating. And then all of a sudden, her mom's like, hey, I don't want you seeing my daughter anymore. I was like, all right, no problem, and I left it at that. I'm just like, all right, cool. And I just left. And I was like, all right. And I just kept, just keeping to myself, keeping to my friends. And finally one day, Kelsey texted me. I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool. Hey, what's up, And, we sat there and texted every now and again. She'd call me. And I don't know, then next thing I know is freaking, I was working, I was out on smoke break, and she came over to my job, and she saw me outside, and she came over to me. And she was all hugging up on me, and I was like, oh, hold up, what about, I was like, hey, dude, your mom said no contact, this ain't supposed to be happening, don't. And then I guess her mom saw her on me, and freaking, her mom left and came back later with a 12 gauge in her car.
Yeah.
And was giving me terroristic threatening, saying that I need to stay away from her daughter, which I have been, and if I don't stay away from her daughter, that I ain't got to worry about nobody finding my DNA because she's going to blow my shit up. And that's exactly what she said. Okay. And I was like, okay. And I just walked back in. I was like, all right. And I sat there trying to just fathom what happened. I was like, wow, she had a freaking shotgun in the car, and I could have gotten shot at work. My first night of work, and I could have gotten shot at work because of her going off her rocker. And I was like, man, ever since then, I deleted her number, haven't even tried any contact or nothing. Everything's been just dead.
You got to tell them you called dish room.
I called after a while. After a little while of sitting there trying to figure out what just happened, I called for Officer Pearson, but they sent dish room because dish room was on duty. And he came up, and I filled out a statement, and a coworker of mine filled out a statement.
I read the statement.
Yeah. And then he said, we'll keep in touch. And
just to let you know on that part, there's a affidavit down here at for the prosecutor right now to arrest her on that. Okay.
And
cool. Because it's kind of scary. Because I'm afraid to walk down the street or even ride my bicycle anymore. Because every now and then I'm looking over my shoulder because I'm still spooked. She had a shotgun in the car and was threatening me. I'm scared. I'm not even joking. I'm worried.
Now tell them what happened after dish room went back over to their house.
After dish room went over to their house, and after I started, I'm pressing charges, next thing I know is this rape charge is being thrown towards me. And I'm like...
But the whole night, Kelsey kept calling you.
Yeah, Kelsey called me like 3 times, and I was like...
4.
I didn't keep count.
She kept calling you to drop charges,
she was trying to get me to drop charges.
And you said, all I'm going to do is get a restraining order. And then I was like, because I wasn't going to tell her yet.
Mr. Parker, can I talk to you for a second real quick, sir? I had something I wanted to talk to you about real quick, if you don't mind, sir.
Who you?
Okay. Anyway, let me think here. At any point, you said you dated Kelsey.
Yeah, for like a week.
Okay.
Like a week, if that.
At any point, did you
sleep
with her?
No.
Okay.
No, because I have way too much respect for her dad, because my brother worked with her dad, and so I was like, all right, he trusted me enough to drive his vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and break some enough to drive his vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and break some trust like that. I was raised right. I was raised to be a gentleman. I held her hand and kissed her, and that's about it. We hugged every now and again, but that was it.
Okay. At any point, did she call you and get her to come over to her house while her mom was asleep after her mom had told
her mom told me I was, welcome.
At some point, her mom stopped liking you for whatever reason.
No, she never called me over or nothing.
You never went over there?
No.
Okay.
No, sir. I never went over there, it's like I'm not supposed to be talking to you, but, you text me, I'll text back just because I'm a nice guy like that. If somebody texts me, I return texts.
Yeah.
It's just common courtesy.
We know, I know for a week, so there was some, apparently, some tension there. Kelsey must have been talking to you. Obviously, she come to Burger King and Mom wasn't happy and everything else.
Yeah.
But you said you never...
No, sir. I've never touched her sexually in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Never.
Okay. We recovered the underwear and stuff that she had on that night.
Okay.
We know through a medical exam that she did have sex with somebody.
Okay.
Okay. Will your DNA be in those underwear?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
Well, if you said you never slept with her, so they wouldn't have been there.
No. I never touched her or anything like that.
Okay. So if you did, it won't be there, right?
Exactly.
You think this is all made up because...
Pretty much because I'm pressing charges on her mom. She's coming in to scream rape because she's trying to protect her mom.
Okay.
That's what I think it is.
Have you had any contact with them since Wednesday?
Nope. I haven't had any contact with them since this whole ordeal.
The last time you talked to Kelsey was...
The night that...
The night of Burger King.
Yep. That was the last time.
But... Did you ever go over to their house? I know you said you did originally. Her mom had invited you.
Yeah, her mom invited me over, and I went over a few times and watched movies.
Just sitting in the living room.
Yeah, just sat on the couch and watched movies.
Okay. Have you made any statements around town to any of your friends or anything about sleeping with her?
No. No.
You said anything to your brother about it?
Nope.
Would he be tending to make up stuff?
My brother?
Yeah.
No. My brother would be as honest as I am.
You sure he hasn't said nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody you work with would say? Okay. Who all do you hang around with? I know.
Ben Evans is a friend of mine that I go out and I go to Green Forest and see all the time. Wayne Lanningham, I go to Eureka and go see him every now and again. I got my friend Kelly, who also lives in Green Forest.
I see you driving up down the road there.
Yeah, I'm always bouncing from Green Forest, Berryville, from Berryville
to be honest with you, I've never paid enough attention to you to even notice who you is with. Which is generally a good thing for you.
So, I'm always running. Just always, constantly. I'm never home. So I don't know how I'd find time to do this. I'm never there.
Okay. Well, I've been told by them that you made statements that you walk around the houses at night over there in that neighborhood and things like that.
I walk to Stubbs and get me a soda every now and again.
You don't go walk in the backyard.
No.
You have to be aware of, we've had a string of robberies through there. You're not suspect in any of them.
I've heard.
And you've probably seen the officers, some of them walking through there at night.
With flashlights and just looking at stuff. I'm like, what is going on near my house? I'm like, what the heck's going on?
About everything that ain't nailed down has been stolen in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I've had my bike stolen once, back whenever I was still in school. Somebody stole my bicycle out of my backyard at night, and I woke up, my bicycle wasn't there, and it took me, I came in here, reported it stolen, but I ended up getting it back. I found it over behind the apartment complex across from Tyson's. Yeah. Had my dad's pickup at the time, and I was like, hey, there's my bike, and I grabbed it up, threw it in the bed, and went home.
Yeah, I guess about 3 weeks ago, we got a complaint. I guess your dogs got out and were out there running around the lady across the street, so they tried to eat her or something.
No, they just bark. They're still pups. Yeah. They're still pups. They're still trying to, I'm still trying to teach them their boundaries. I keep them in the garage pretty much all the time. Yeah. because I still have to fix dog fence.
As we went down there and we were out around them, they didn't act aggressive towards us at all.
They're love. You ain't got to worry about them dogs biting. Their bark is the only thing they got on them.
Yeah.
Well, they're love dogs. I mean, all they'll do is come bark at you and, let you pet them and love on them. Yeah. None of my dogs are aggressive. I don't believe in aggressive animals. I really don't. Because, my dog Buddy, I had to break him because for a long time there after I got him, he was real bad. Anybody with gloves, he hated gloves. And finally now I can put on gloves and sit there and play with him, and he just looks at me like I'm stupid. And I'm like, okay.
All right, Wayne, this is the thing that I really need to clear up. I'm not accusing you of rape, anything like that. But if you did sleep with her at any point, let me know. So, because if the crime lab says that your DNA is in her underwear, it's going to be really hard to defend that. So, I know your dad's not in here right now. If you don't want to admit it in front of him, whatever, they don't.
No, I never slept with her. Never.
Okay.
No, I didn't do a damn thing with her.
I just wanted to get that cleared up. So.
And it kind of makes me angry because, I'm being called a freaking rapist here. I'm not like that. I wasn't raised like that.
I'm not accusing you of one way or the other. This is where we get these complaints. That's as you understand, a pretty serious charge. It isn't nothing to be joking about or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we've got to take it serious.
Yeah.
It's not like a traffic stop or something like that. So we have to tie up all the loose ends on it just to make sure this isn't one way that if you didn't do it, by all means, I hope you do. I don't want you in trouble. I'm not out to get you in any way, shape, or form. But looking at it, if someday you're going to have kids, whatever, if one of them, it's our obligation to follow up on such.
Yeah, I know.
And anyway, do you have any problems taking a DNA test?
No.
It's all it'll consist of is like a swab being wiped around your mouth. You ever had that done before?
No.
Hang back for just a second, all right?
Hey, Wayne, how's it going?
Wayne, this is Detective Bartow.
Daniel said that you said it was all right if we take a sample of your DNA. This here's a permission to search.
Permission to search.
Basically, it's just a consent. You've given us consent to take your DNA because basically it's basically considered a search since we're taking part of your property.
Okay.
Get my name, Wayne.
Michael.
Parker. Been informed by May, August 2008 at 14:10. Wayne, this here says, okay, I'll go ahead and read this over. It says, I, Wayne and Parker, have been informed by Detective Robert Bartos, myself, and Officer Crawford, who made proper identification, authorized law enforcement officers of the Berryville Police Department, of my constitutional right to have a search made of the premises and property owned by me and or under my care, custody, and control without a search warrant. Knowing of my lawful right to refuse to consent to such a search, I willfully give my permission to the above named officers to conduct a complete search of the premises and property, including all buildings and vehicles, both inside and outside the property located at, and that's just because it's in there, on the person, and I put for oral swabs. The above said officers further have my permission to take from my premises and property any letters, papers, materials, or any other property or things which they desire as evidence for criminal prosecution in the case or case under investigation. This written permission to search without a search warrant is given to me, to the above officers, voluntarily and without any threats or promises of any kind, at its 1410 on the 21st day of August 2008 here at the Berryville Police Department. What this is saying here is it's okay with you to let us take DNA swabs. If not, you have that right to refuse.
Yeah.
And if it's okay, then if it's okay with you, go ahead and sign there saying that it's all right. I'm sure you watch TV, so you've seen the CSI and stuff, so it's just basically a Q-tip rubbed in the mouth.
Yeah. I had to see that when I went and seen the dentist. Got a 10 until it came up to $80 to get teeth pulled.
You got any gum or tobacco or nothing like that in there?
Yeah.
That had to hurt.
No, never even really felt it. It just felt funny when you checked the top ball and the whole thing fell through. It was kind of a cool feeling.
I'll just have to take your word for that.
When I heard the needle hit the floor, and I was like, whoa, and I spazzed out for a second. I was like, okay. So the tongue didn't fall out. All right.
They pushed that whole thing through there?
Yeah, well, I gauged it. It was a 14, but I gauged it to like a 12.
So this would be definitely painless, probably compared to that, but it's stuff on this one. Oh, I'm just watching the clock. I'm supposed to do this for 30 seconds, so that's why I keep looking at it. I'm going to talk to you real quick, Wayne, if that's all right. Man, you've grown since last time I've seen you.
Yeah.
All right. Look, Wayne, I know you've been in a little trouble here and there, but you've basically been a good person. You've been a good kid. And that's why I looked at all the evidence that they've got here so far. That's why I'd like to think that this was something that just kind of happened by chance. It wasn't something you planned out, because I don't see you going through and planning out to rape some girl. I mean, that's just not like you. That's not the history that I've known from you. And like I said, you've been in a little trouble here, but basically you just kind of been in the wrong place at the wrong time, maybe with the wrong people and stuff. That's why I think that you didn't do something like this. I think, y'all was out there, kind of messed around. You're young. I remember being young, hormones raging. Y'all was out there kind of.
I'm always bouncing from one time to another.
Start kissing and messing around and whatever. You get excited and them hormones start raging and stuff. I don't know how that goes. And, one little thing leads to another. And, And bam, next thing you know, you just can't, it just happens, thinking with the wrong head, and it just kind of goes over there.
Not like that.
But see, that's why I like to think that, because, I know something happened here, but what I'm trying to find out is what happened, because I think that, you're not like one of them other guys. You're not Jeffrey Dahmer or any of those stuff like that. I'm thinking it's just something, a chance happened. You didn't plan for nothing. Y'all over there kind of messing around. Things maybe went a little too far. And that happens. Young teenagers, the hormones, testosterone, it's roaring. Start kissing, start messing around. Stuff happens. That's why I'd like to think that this wasn't something that you planned out, just something that just kind of happened.
There's nothing that happened.
Nothing that happened. I've seen the medical evidence and stuff. I just wanted your DNA to compare it to the DNA that they've got there. And that's why I'm trying to give you the opportunity here, because I know you're not like one of them, like Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the people like that. You're like that. You're not like an animal. You're just somebody that had something happened.
Place, wrong time, wrong people.
Wayne, the only reason I'm sitting here today, I've screwed up. I've done stuff that I'm not proud of. There's a lot of stuff I'm ashamed of, stuff that I definitely want to tell my kid when he gets older, because I'm ashamed it happened to him. But the only reason I'm sitting here today was because I'm fessed up to it. And it's human nature not to want to admit someone screwed stuff up. It's not we're ashamed of it. We're embarrassed when stuff happens bad. But the only way to take care of stuff is to fess up and say, look, I screwed up. It was an accident, because I figured it was an accident. It wasn't something that was planned, because like I said, you're not like any of them people. If you are like that, then I'm wasting my time here. If you think it's way too well, that's what I'm saying. See, exactly. See, you were raised to it by your parents. They care about you. And that's why I'm thinking that this was just kind of a circumstantial thing. He was at the wrong place, the wrong time. The hormones were roaring and raging, and when you start making out with somebody, things lead to one thing to the next, and stuff happens. That's why I want to believe that you're the good person that I thought of when you were a kid, and that this is just an accident, that this is just something that just kind of happened. But that's what I need to know, because, it's either one or the other. It's either A, you planned it out, or B, it just happened by accident. So did you plan it, or was it an accident?
I didn't plan nothing. Nothing's ever planned with me.
That's what I'm saying. It's not planned. It was just something that happened.
Planned with me. I'm always lived day by day, because I found out life's easier that way.
That's what I'm saying. Just an accident. You was there, things led to one thing to the next, and then something just happened.
I'm always, just like,
that's what I'm trying to say. Have you talked to her about this since this happened?
No, I haven't had any contact with her. I have pretty much no clue what's going on until freaking Crawford called me and said, hey, we need to talk.
So, but none of this stuff, you didn't plan any of this stuff out. No, it was just kind of something that just happened. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. It led one thing, led to another. Is that what happened? No, it just led one thing to another. Because you just said you didn't plan it out. If you didn't plan it out, then it's just something that happened. And that's kind of what I need to know, if it was one or the other. I mean, I like to think that it was just something that just happened because, like you said, you've got a good upbringing, you've been a good kid, a few times in the wrong place. Well, there you go.
You know, I have my faith in God. You know, I'm not an animal. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When something you screw up and accidents happen, the first thing we do is we go to God and we say, "Look, I'm sorry for what happened." And that's true, though, right? You're sorry for what happened.
And it's like,
that's what I'm saying. You go to church, and I'm good. So you're not like them other people because they don't go to church, they don't care about God, they don't care about their religion, they don't care about their family. But
I got too much stuff here.
Exactly. You've got a lot of stuff. That stuff would. That's exactly what I'm saying. Why this stuff just
I got a car I have to fix. I got family that I got to take care of.
That's what I'm saying. You're a good guy. You're not like these other guys. You've got all these things here. That's why you wouldn't plan something like that.
Think about everything.
Exactly. That's why this thing just happened. It was an accident. It just spurred of the moment. One thing led to another. Things went too far, and it just happened. I mean, a good Christian boy like you wouldn't plan something like this out, would you? No, I didn't think so. Not nobody that was raised like you. You wouldn't go out planning something like that because you'd be an animal, and you're not like it. That's why this just happened. It was actually.
A lot of people look at me and think, "Oh, what a freak!" But you know what? If they actually got to know me, they would actually.
You don't judge a book by the cover. You do the inside.
I know I'm not a good.
Did you ask for forgiveness for what you did? Did you ask God to forgive you for this? I'm sure you have. You're a Christian. Have you asked for it?
I haven't even been to church in like 2 weeks because I haven't been able to make it because I've been working.
But you still talk to God, I'm sure.
I still pray.
Well, see, look, that's what you keep telling me how good of a person you are, and I agree with you fully. I know where you're coming from because you're not like them animals. You're not like one of them guys. That's what I'm saying. It didn't get planned. It was just something, a spur of the moment thing when things went too far, and it just happened. Am I right? It just happened. You didn't plan it. You went over there. One thing led to the next, and it happened. And afterwards, it was like, "Oh crap! What did I do? I'm better than that. I'm Wayne. I was raised better than that. This didn't happen." Isn't that what happened? Is that what happened or not, Wayne? Because you're a good person. I could see afterwards you felt, "What did I just do?" You know, you were embarrassed, maybe humiliated a little bit, maybe ashamed because you were raised better than that. Is that? Am I wrong or am I right? Because, like I said, I mean, you're telling me exactly what I know about you, that you're better than that. That's why this stuff would have just happened. I mean, things get heated, you know, and emotions, and especially youth, you know, the testosterone and everything runs high, the emotions and stuff, and you throw a little bit of kissing and stuff in there with somebody you care about, and sometimes things just go a little bit too far. But I'm just trying to find out what really went on here, Wayne. And I know you're a good person, so that's why I'm trying to believe that it was just an accident, just something that went a little too far. Things that just went. But you stopped yourself, didn't you? Didn't you stop it?
When she started trying to go further, I just, hold up, check, stop. And I was like, all right, I don't feel comfortable, I'm going to leave. And I just left. And I went to a friend's house, sat there, and I was like, dude, give me a cigarette, because I was out, and I was like, man, I need a cigarette. And he was like, why? I was like, dude, I just got just completely freaked out, and he called me gay, and I was like, dude.
Did you penetrate her?
No.
No? How far did you get?
Like kissing and hugging.
Didn't go any further? No, Wayne, come on. No, it went farther than that. Be honest with me. Tell me the truth. Tell me what's really going on. Because now I'm thinking maybe that's something that was planned. But I'd like to think that wasn't true. Wayne, I know there was at least penetration there.
There wasn't. That's what I'm trying to put out. There's no penetration. I did not penetrate this girl. I did not do anything with that girl of that sort.
Come on, Wayne, you need to be honest with me. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with God about what's really going on. If you're really this good person like I think you are, like you're telling me you are, you're going to be honest with me, you be honest with God, and be honest with that girl is what's going on here. Because I'm on your side here, Wayne. That's why I'm not comparing you to this other guy over here that I'm talking about. I think you're over here. I mean, you're a good Christian boy. You said you go to church. You go to church when you can, which that's like a lot of us. It's hard sometimes because you got to make ends meet and try to go to the church. And I like to think that God understands that we're trying to do the best we can.
To the church.
Well, good for you. And if you were like this other guy, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't go there at all. But you're doing it. You're doing it. So that's why I want to know this: how far things went. I already know how far they went, Wayne. But I also know that once it went that far, you were the one that stopped it. You were the one that took control of the situation. You were the one, once it started, and I know it started, you stopped it. You were the one that walked off. She wasn't able to get away from you. You stopped it and walked off, which shows you're better than that other guy because you stopped yourself. You caught yourself and said, whoa, I'm better than that. I'm not like that. I'm not an animal. And you got up and you left. But see, Wayne, if you were like that other guy, like I said, I wouldn't be here. This would be a waste of my time. It'd be a waste of your time. And you wouldn't even have shown up to talk to me. But you showed up. Well, actually, you showed up to talk to Officer Crawford. But that's why you showed up, because, you know, you want to get this taken care of. You want to get it off your chest. And you want to make it all good.
No, I was just asked to come in to get asked a few questions. I was like, all right, I'll answer a few questions. But right now, I feel like I'm the one being interrogated, so I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now, and I'd really like to leave.
Well, you're more than welcome to, Wayne.
Yeah, dude, I'm not feeling comfortable without my dad. I really ain't, dude. I'm sorry, but I don't know.
Well, that's quite all right, Wayne. We're just here trying to find